All right, good morning, and welcome to the what might be the only session at SSP without the word "open" in it. But we could add "open," and we could open intrapreneurship could be you could record all of your organization's meetings and put them on YouTube or something, and it would be open and very, very boring for everybody else. So we are here to talk about intrapreneurship. Why intrapreneurship? What is intrapreneurship? So intrapreneurship is the development of new products or furthering of existing products or other innovations by existing organizations. So one of the reasons we're here to talk about this is it receives less attention. The startups, are much more sexy and glamorous, and so everybody likes to talk about startups. But if you think about it, most of the new products, certainly in our space, are developed by existing organizations. I started to go through all of the new products that had been developed by startups over the last 3 or 4 years, and you can kind of count them up on your hands. And then you start to think about all the products and new products and services developed by the existing organizations, and you quickly run out of fingers and toes, and you borrow other people, and you run out of their fingers and toes, and it gets very awkward. There's a lot of them. But nobody's talking about it. So we thought we would get together here in Boston and talk about it. The second reason we're here to talk about it is because it's increasingly important. Why is it increasingly important? In a session yesterday on innovation in sort of freemium models, Jan Veltrop came up with this fabulous expression which absolutely captures I think why it's increasingly important. And the phrase is peak subscription. We have reached peak subscription. And what he means by that is that, so if you sort of look out over the industry over the last decade and a half, the principal preoccupations of the STM industry and scholarly publishing industry have been twofold. One is leveraging site licenses and migrating to site licenses, and optimally pricing site licenses and throwing more things into site licenses. And the second is expanding into new markets, to China, to India, to South America, to the Middle East, et cetera, et cetera. But we've reached the point where there's no more markets to grow into. And there's also, we've sort of reached a plateau period with library budgets. And peak subscription. So it's not to say that site licenses are going to go away, but or at least I don't think they are. But it certainly is not going to be a locus of growth for most organizations. And the third reason we're here to talk about it is because it's hard. Certainly startups have their own challenges, mostly around funding and so forth. But it's hard to develop new products even at existing organizations. And the reason is because organizations are not built around new products, right? They're built around the existing products. And so the challenges are maintaining existing business lines while you got to keep everything you're doing working while you try to do something new. You got to develop new skill sets often, new organizational infrastructure, financial infrastructure, human resources infrastructure, technology infrastructure, realign incentives often, and an extremely painful one is often reallocate resources from successful businesses and successful business managers. It's not often well received to tell your most successful business line, hey, guess what? We're gonna take a bunch of the money that you're generating and move it over here to this untested new thing, which you're not going to work on. So that's often not a pleasant message. They're just right on time for this meeting. There's a fantastic article in Harvard Business Review this month looking at all of the sort of, you read about like lean startup and all the sort of lean processes that the startup community talks about and often practices with regard to how they operate. And a lot of well-established companies have started to adopt some of these with mixed results. And so this actually is a great case study because it's about the publishing industry. So it's a case study for a big publisher that tried to adopt a whole bunch of lean startup techniques, and they successfully did so to some extent in that they got a whole bunch of new products off the ground. They did a whole bunch of hackathons, and they embraced lean methodologies and developed some new products and got them out there. But then they sort of placed them into existing operating units with executives that were saying, okay, well, this isn't really making any money yet, and it's coming out of my operating budget, so I'm not really going to back this. And so they sort of found that established leadership practices, corporate cultures, identities, and organizational structures are the biggest obstacle to successful innovation. So often the things that make an existing products and mature organizations successful are the very things which hamper successful product development. So how do you overcome these challenges? Well, that's what our speakers are here to talk about today. So we've got a great panel lined up. First off today is going to be Nico Goncharov, who's the head of knowledge discovery at Digital Science, which is a division of Macmillan. And Nico oversees businesses and products that help researchers more effectively access online scientific texts and related media and uncover new data and relationships related to the research. So Nico will talk first, followed by John Inglis, who's Executive Director and Publisher at Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory Press. And finally, Kent Anderson, CEO of the Journal of Bone and Joint Surgery, Striatus, and also the president of SSP. I think we're the only panel that has the president of SSP this year.
Past president, so you don't even.
Man, is Howard here?
Yeah,
Can we switch? All right. So, with that, first up we have Mr. Goncharov.